Chapter 3 is all about texturing and material creation, or surfacing being the common combined term. As you can imagine, the star of the show is the skin material. Skin is one of the most difficult materials to get right in all of computer graphics. And mostly when it comes to texturing photorealistic skin, artists rely on sourcing from photos. Very high-resolution, polarized photos if possible. This is a very powerful technique if you can afford to buy the photos. However, for my courses, I try to avoid any third-party purchases. And I'm quite proud that the technique I teach in this chapter only requires a basic painting ability and a detailed head model. Of course, before we can paint or bake any textures, we need to lay out UVs, so we'll do that first. After which we will bake several utility textures, as I call them, and these serve to capture the geometric details of our high-res sculpture as various image textures. Ultimately, they will be layered on top of a simplified skin color base texture, which we will paint by hand. And this is the only texture we will paint from scratch, if you can believe it. We'll conclude this first version of the skin material by layering our bake data and adding procedural accents in the material editor. Even though the skin material is arguably the main event of the chapter, there's still a bunch of other materials that we cannot neglect when it comes to photorealism. We'll be sure to take our time with the eyes, given their importance for believability and connection with the viewer. After all, if the eyes fail, the whole portrait fails. And this includes several components like the sclera and iris, which we will texture entirely with procedural techniques. And it also includes the eye meniscus for that trademark reflection between eyelids and sclera. And then we'll ease our way into hair with eyelashes and eyebrows. After completing our eye components, we'll revisit the skin material by meticulously polishing specular reflection, procedural blemishes, and a micro bump detail. From there, it's a matter of creating materials for our clothing and glasses. And when I say we won't neglect these other non-skin materials, I mean it. We'll maintain a high fidelity standard by adding subtle layers of dust and grime to our glasses, as well as a detailed procedural weave pattern to our hoodie, along with a fine layer of fuzz to complete the soft sweatshirt effect. This chapter increases complexity in the sense that we have to juggle several different concepts, from UV layout to texture painting, texture baking, procedural textures, material attributes, a little bit of lighting, and even hair. At least those are the main concepts. So please prepare to be patient through this chapter. If these are all new concepts to you, please be sure to watch these courses first. The fundamentals of texturing, the fundamentals of materials and shading, and the fundamentals of digital lighting. Okay? Let's do it.